Oh.
Ready, steady, go. Perfect. Oh. All right. On that note, welcome to the Practical Pistol Show. No, not Practical Pistol Show. Practical Shooting After Dark. Crap, I had one job and I messed it up. I am your host, Ben Steger. No, I'm Joel Park. On deck today, we have Kim.
Hi.
And Ben.
Hello.
There you go. Oh, boy. Lag again.
Or should I say g'day? I don't know.
Yes. Oh, great. We're off to a great start so far. All right. You guys know the format for the show. Bring something to talk about, show to tell, something you did this week in shooting. It's going to be amazing. So.
Joel first.
All right, fine. Fine. So I was thinking today, and so over the last year, I've done a few activities outside of USPSA that were shooting related that just further cemented in me that shooting is shooting. So the first thing that sort of surprised me was being a role player in a local police department training. So I was asked to help because I have some shooting ability, but I have zero knowledge of team tactics or how the officers would react if I drew a gun and started shooting. So they're like ambush scenarios they didn't know I was armed, that kind of thing. I was given a role with instruction. So I know this isn't a self-defense podcast, but shooting was shooting. So I performed a lot of it on autopilot. I didn't have time, like no conscious thought went into this because it was happening so fast. I couldn't even process it. But it was like shooting was shooting. So another thing that made me think, a week and a half ago, my friend Gerald invited me to a rimfire bowling pin match. Like I had no idea how it worked, and I just went to hang out with him. I had like, okay, we'll see what happens. The only .22 handgun I have to bring is a stock Ruger Mark II with black target sights. Like, guess what? Shooting was shooting. Like sight alignment, trigger control, transitions, all that stuff was very important. So, especially this rimfire match, it was, I don't know, I guess I didn't know what to expect. But the people that I know that excel at fundamentals with the center fire did well with the rimfire. So I'm not saying those things are meaningful for USPSA or that's a way to level up, but I just thought it was really interesting that shooting is shooting in any of those situations, like anything with a gun, whether it's just something to do to have fun, like shooting is shooting. So I just thought that was interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless you're shooting like an Olympic bullseye, yeah.
But even then, it'd be sight alignment and trigger control. Like the people that are good at that, they're going to be good at Olympic bullseye.
Mm-hmm. But I would say the trigger is extremely different. The Olympic trigger, I tried one, and then like even before I felt like I was touching the trigger, it already fired. So
that's true.
Yeah, slight difference. Slight difference. Yes.
Yeah.
If you're one of those who prep things, you're not gonna like that one.
Yeah, I did not have any expectations to rimfire match. I didn't even know how like the format was. I'm like, how many? I only have 2 magazines. Am I okay? I'm like, I had no idea. And after my first run, I was kind of like just processing. I'm like, oh, this is just shooting. Like I line up the sights. I press the trigger without moving the sights. Then I transition to the next pin. I do the same thing over again. Like with a gun I don't practice with. It hadn't been cleaned. I knew it was roughly sighted in. I knew it was reliable. That was it. So.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Shooting is shooting.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Okay.
All right.
Is it my turn?
Are you are you reading me clearly now?
Yes.
It's a good time for me to go. So I have this thing, which allow me to describe for the audio people. It is basically a mock cartridge that goes inside the chamber of your gun and then expands so that it can't be removed and your gun can't be fired. And then it's attached to an electromechanical dial that functions as the lock or unlock mechanism. And it's designed so that you essentially can rack this thing out of your gun when you decide to unlock it. And then if you have if you put a magazine in the gun, unlock it and rack it, the gun's then loaded.
Okay.
Yes. So I brought this with me to Australia for my lovely host here because he wanted one, and like this isn't mine. I just thought it'd be interesting to show. So it's whatever direction you want to turn it. So the combo on this one right now is 1, 2, 2. Now it's unlocked. Now I can load it.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So it is an interesting gun lock, a very sophisticated gun lock, really. That
Is there any specific applications, or just gun safety, or it wasn't like a legal thing, right? It was just something he was interested in, wanted to have.
He just likes cool shit, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of cool as a gun lock. I mean, there's one that's like Wi-Fi controlled, another version of the same thing. It's called a Zor. The Wi-Fi controlled version can be unlocked over Wi-Fi.
Wow.
Now, why you need to do that, I have no idea. Yeah, why you need to do that, I have no idea. But it's a very fast. So like the combo, like I said, the combo on this one is 1, 2, 2. So if I turn it, I can turn it either way. So it's like one click either direction. No, I just go the other direction, the specified number. So you don't have to remember much. You can set the combo to whatever you want.
What if you miss the combo? Is it like an electronic safe where you get locked out for so long if you miss it so many times?
I don't know. I'm not going to lie. I didn't really read the manual, but
that doesn't surprise me with you, sir.
There probably is such a feature.
I don't need it. Just give me that.
I don't need the manual. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you decide to, like right now, the gun's locked. Like this thing will not come out because it expands inside the chamber. Okay. So then you put it in the combo. Now it comes right out. So I know the audio people are having a bad time now, but there's basically a thing that looks like a bullet that when it locks, it expands. So it is not coming out of the chamber.
Huh.
And then it's like all the other like electronic shit is just kind of sits off on like there's a little bar that's all comes off the bullet thing, and then all the locking stuff sits on this other thing. Like that would be outside your gun.
I suppose the question to ask you from the people that are responsible with firearms, which might not be me, are those available in other countries? Is that just an Australia thing? What's the name of the company?
No. This is Zor. So this was like a Kickstarter thing, and I had to bring it here from the U.S.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I missed that.
It was like Kickstarted, I guess, and now it is a thing.
Oh.
So this guy my host here was part of the Kickstarter.
Oh, okay.
He got his free Zor.
Okay.
No, that's all I got.
That's interesting. Okay. I've not seen that before.
No, it is. That's why I brought it. It's interesting. That's all. That's all I got.
Okay, my turn.
Yes, Kim.
So I have something related to shooting. Last year, I was experimenting heavily focused on tension, like whether if it's grip tension, arms, body, shoulder, legs, everything. So it's something I caught last year, but then I'm seeing more people doing this as I'm doing the video reviews on the training group. And also at the Florida Open, I was watching this shooter. He's a pretty good shooter. And then he was shooting on the move. And then I noticed that. Then we had a conversation because he's my friend. So basically, this is about shoulder tension, especially when you are shooting on the move, or generally, if you have a lower stance, a lot of people may have this issue. So just short introduction. When we are shooting like a regular, classifier style, not moving style, then our upper body is erect, like straight up. And then we bring the gun up to our eye level. So now the angle in between your arm and your upper body is about 90 degrees when you punch out the gun. Almost no exception. Almost everybody has 90-degree angle with the arm and the upper body. Okay. However, some people have like a lower stance, let's say position entry, or when they try to shoot on the move, they squat down a little. And some people, they have the upper body leaned forward. Now, if you lean your upper body forward, the angle in between your arm and your upper body is greater because now your upper body is angled forward and the arm is still at a level parallel to the ground, right?
Yes.
So the more angle you have from 90 degrees to, let's say, 120 degrees, something like that, then you will quickly feel the body shoulder tension because you're raising your arm higher and higher. So everybody has different flexibility. I don't have a good flexibility, but there's a good way to determine what degree you can go up without the shoulder tension. You simply just stand up and start bringing the arm up. So make your arm at the 90 degree like you're shooting, and then start bringing it up. And then the point where you feel the shoulder tightening up, then that's the spot you don't want to go to. So if you are shooting on the move, for example, or staying generally low, then you want to be careful how your upper body is leaned forward. So make sure to experiment just raising your arm up and find the angle where it starts tensing up on your shoulder. And then when you're shooting on the move or even the low port scenario, if you don't have to lean upper body that much, then make sure your arm angle is within that relaxation zone. Makes sense, right?
It does make sense.
Yes. Because the more shoulder tension you have, you're going to have less accurate transitions, and also the recoil management will be also affected and all that stuff. So unless you have to have your upper body leaned forward, some situation we have to, because low port we might have to lean forward a lot. Then shoulder tension may inevitable, or you can experiment with different low port shooting technique where you can still maintain that shoulder tension less and less. So basically, experiment with that shoulder, arm, upper body angle at home. Mm-hmm. Just simply stand up and then from 90 degrees, start raising it up and then find the spot where you feel the tension and then try not to be there in every scenario if possible.
Kim, you're a smart dude. I've actually got one dude that normally comes to my training group that I'll call him like a shoulder shrugger, where he shoots with his like shoulders way shrugged, and I'll like stand behind him, like try to smash down on them as hard as I can, like look at all this tension, get rid of this, and then it just ends up like creeping back up. He does it again, so he'll be the guinea pig for that. I like that.
Thanks. Good.
Yeah,
Kim, you're so smart.
Thank you.
I like it.
Yep.
All right. Let's do a question. Hey, Ben, I recently made GM after less than a year of shooting USPSA, and one of my shooting buddies is trying to push me hard in the direction of trying to get our own club started locally. Honestly, I don't mind traveling for matches, and I spend most of my time practicing and shooting majors instead of shooting local matches. He says, now that I'm a GM, I need to get back to the sport, but I don't really feel I'm at the point where I need to do that yet. I've literally just started being a GM really doesn't mean a ton to me. I'm trying to win matches and secure a spot for the next World Shoot, and I don't want to divert time elsewhere. But at the same time, I'm not sure I'll be able to get enough points with the other guys that are trying to make the U.S. team. Ben, you're drinking really loud. I need you to dehydrate yourself just for like 10 minutes. Sorry. Should I give up?
Sorry. I'm thirsty.
Apology accepted. Just dehydrate yourself just for a few minutes, my man. So the end of his question, should I give up my lofty goals and just try to have fun saving money and shooting locals, or maybe setting up a killer local monthly, double down, try to get the next qualifying? Okay, you get the gist. So he wants to go to the World Shoot. He's not sure he has a chance. What do you think? So there's like a couple questions going on there. He's talking about like local participation, setting up a local club, but maybe that's going to get in the way of him going to the World Shoot.
Which he also said he probably won't go to anyway.
That's correct. What do you guys think? Who wants to...
Life is about choices. If he doesn't want to like run a club, then don't run a club. I don't think there's any simpler way to put it. Don't let somebody like make you do shit that you don't want to do. That having been said, the time will come when doing that is a good, nice, productive thing. And if that time's not now, then it's not now. That's okay. Like if I don't get kicked out of the sport, which I guess is a very real possibility, if I don't get kicked Down
Thank goodness. Thank goodness you're cutting out.
In the next day. No, I'm sorry. What I was going to say is, if I don't get kicked out of the next decade, I will return to like building matches and running matches like a lot more. But like that's not realistic for me to do right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I understand where this guy's coming from. He's like, hey, I'm trying to do this thing, and it's like, all right, well, you will never get a chance to do that again.
Mm-hmm.
Really, like the time is now if that's what you want to do to be super competitive. It will then be easier to run matches after you kind of get to where you want to. Whereas, he can go run matches anytime.
I like that a lot. Well, I was thinking about like what you already keyed in on was like letting people kill your enjoyment of the sport. Maybe we're making you feel obligated to do stuff you don't want to do. So I was thinking about, I used to shoot for there's nothing wrong with it, but I used to shoot Steel Challenge every month at our club. And I honestly went because it was fun to hang out with my friends. I like the dudes I shoot with. I thought, like shooting, okay, it's still shooting. I'm hanging out with my bros. This is fun. And then I got to the point where I'm like, I don't really want to do this anymore. There's nothing wrong with Steel. If that's your game, that's cool. But I just really didn't want to do it anymore. So like, there's no way I'm going to let something like that kill my enjoyment. So if my body's saying, I don't really want to do this, I'm not going to make myself do it, because that's going to lead to burnout, frustration. Like the whole point of the sport is having fun. So I don't see the sense to push yourself to do something that's not fun.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people that genuinely enjoy running matches.
Yeah.
Like, they like it.
Yeah.
They like it. And like, if that's your thing, that's cool. I'm kind of more of the opinion that's not really like a fun thing. I was a fresh GM in the sport. I was, ROing all the majors at my club and building the stages and doing that stuff. But like when I started to travel more and more, it's like, yeah, that's just not realistic. It's just not realistic to do. It's not going to work. I do enjoy working the occasional match now, but it's a lot more infrequent. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, also, like the comment he was making about giving back to the sport, I don't think you have to be a match director to give back. So I've talked here about the practice group. Ben, you're aware of the practice group I run. Kind of just to briefly share, I organize, it's a monthly training group that's like, if anybody wants to come, as long as you understand how USPSA works, anybody wants to come, I don't charge them, the Reign charges them. It's not a, financially, it's not helping me at all, but I do it just to help people. It's like, hey, here for one night a month, if you want to come, I'll do drills and stuff like that. I'm happy to help you. Like anything I know, I am willing to help you. This is time I'm setting aside to help people. I will help with literally anything I can to make you feel, to make you better. Or if you have any questions, like message me, whatever. And then I have my own practice that's separate from that. So that doesn't detract, like you could call that giving back to the sport, but that's not hurting my own training at all. If this guy wants to do, like the World Shoot, if he helps some local guys that maybe had questions or something like that, training up to be the best you can be, like giving back doesn't necessarily have to cost you a lot. I think it's just good to set boundaries on what time you're willing to give up. And then I just set that time up, apart. So, and also by helping other people, I've gained a lot of knowledge about my own shooting or stuff I've learned from training group that I want to try. Like Kim's talking about shoulder tension. Like, hey, I've got a guy that's already going to be a guinea pig for that. Like maybe he'll like it, maybe he won't. I'm like, hey, try this. My friend said to do this. What do you think of this? Maybe he likes it, maybe he doesn't. But helping people has also helped me become better at shooting, like in my own shooting also. Being able to pick out things people are doing. So.
Yeah. I mean, and that's, see, you learn a lot running matches too. You actually learn a lot becoming an RO. You do. But like, it's okay if you don't have time for that right now. Like, that is okay. That doesn't offend me.
No, not at all. So you can think you can give back to the sport without being like an all-in match director.
Yeah, well, I mean, like that dude would be miserable.
Yeah.
Like I apologize for the language I'm about to use, but I don't really like miserable cunt match directors more than anybody. Like I don't like. somebody who's like been running a match for 10 years and they're very resentful and angry all the time, and they don't like, they're like, if you don't like this, do it yourself. It's like, all right, dude, like no one's holding a gun to your head making you do this. You don't need to be a douche. Like it's not necessary. And you've all met match directors. Yeah, you've all met match directors like that. And it's kind of like, maybe you should just like not be a match director. And then they'll be like, well, nobody will do it then. You're like, well, maybe you should be okay with that. Like if you just stop doing it and nobody steps up, like maybe then all us a-holes don't get a match. And, you know, like, it's okay. Don't make yourself miserable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Be a happy match director. Like, I also don't like those guys who become miserable. Like, they are not fun for other people. Like,
Yes.
they're not. They're not fun to be around. And then when other guys come into a club and are like trying to do something a little different, that's like they're trying to stop that. Like, it's good. They're impossible. So
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Say no just to say no. Exactly.
Yes. Well, no, it almost happened to a friend of mine. A friend of mine was a match director for a few too many years, and he essentially stopped doing anything in the sport for a decade. He burned out, he stopped practicing, stopped doing anything. And this was after he stopped match directing. So it's like a match director for like 6 years when it should have been like 3. He just hung out a little too long, and it was very bad for him in the long term. And when he steps down from being the match director, somebody else stepped up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he just should have stepped down sooner. I think taking a year or two as a turn as a match director at some point in your shooting career is a great idea. But like, if now it's not the time, it's not the time. And then like, don't keep doing it out of some sense of obligation when it's like really ruining your enjoyment.
Yeah. Also, I don't have any. I'm not a person in contention to get a world shoot slot. Just to address that question, what thoughts did you guys have on that part of it? Like, it sounds like he doesn't think he's going to get one anyway. So
And it's probably not.
Mm-hmm.
I would say
I would trust his assessment of his shooting more than mine, because I don't even know who that is.
Because he mentioned about he not shooting enough qualifier match too, right?
Yes. Well, I think there was a couple qualifier. If he shoots the next 2 qualifier matches and does a bang up job at both of them, then he might be in good shape. But otherwise, probably not.
Yeah.
So
It might be depends on the division too.
yeah,
Yeah, if you're talking about production division,
there's a lot of heat there.
there's a lot of heat. Yes.
So I would say don't set yourself up for heartbreak. Work on getting better, as opposed like just continue to improve your technical skill. He's only been shooting for a year. He's already made GM. Like, obviously there's potential there. But continue to, like, I have no idea who this is. Continue to build your technical skill. Keep training up, and at some point, you continue to get better. And winning matches just happens when you continue to get better.
Yes.
Boom. All right. Well, guys, this is another bang up show.
But yeah, bang up job, guys.
I don't have a good Ben voice to use. Listeners.
Dude, yeah, throw me.
Yeah. If you have any questions.
It's kind of funny.
Oh my. That's like a good note to end this on. Listeners, if you have any questions, go to my website, bensteger.com. Send me a question.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear from you.
We're going to do another show with your question. It's going to be a great show. It's going to be the best.
I'm going to kill this
gonna be
before Ben
huge.
talks anymore.